Hello everyone and welcome to Paint Night. I'm really excited to be doing this. I love painting and I hope by the end of this you will all love painting. And if you love painting already, I hope you will still love painting at the end of this. This is the painting that we're going to be doing tonight. It's called Into the Night. And if at any point you want to divert from the example, then that's totally fine. You're here to express yourself creatively, and if this is not exactly what you're feeling, then go with your feeling. So my name is Deanne, and so I want to tell you a little bit about all the materials you have here. You have a canvas. This is a pre-primed canvas, so you don't have to worry about priming it, so that's going to save us some time. You have a cup of water. This is not for drinking. This is your paint water for rinsing off your brushes. We won't need to do that a lot, but you also have some paper towel, drying them off. We've got 5 colors on your palette. If at any time you run out of a color and you need more, just help yourself, or you can let me know and I can help you. There's probably a lot of people here who have never been to paint night before, and that's awesome. My first time at paint night, I loved it. So hopefully you guys will love it too. So let's just get started. So the first thing we're going to do is the background. And your background is not going to look just like this background. I've done this painting a couple times and it never looks the same, and that's also awesome. So everybody will end up with something a little bit different. You are not allowed to get stressed out. Anything that happens on the canvas, if you really don't like it, can always be fixed. And just try not to panic if it's not going exactly the way you think, because you'll be surprised how it looks when you get to the end. So first thing we're going to do, we have 3 brushes. We're going to start with the big one. You can give it a name if you like. We have also a medium brush and a little brush. Now, if you want, at some point, I do have some smaller brushes, like if you're doing the branches or the birds and you feel like you need a smaller one. We have some extra ones, but you can, these are the only brushes that I used when I painted this one, so it is definitely possible to just use the 3 brushes. So what we're going to do, we're going to start at the bottom and work our way up to the darker color. So there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can, at any point, mix some of the colors to get the colors on here. You can mix them on your palette. I like to mix them on the canvas. But if you want to mix them on the palette, if you need an extra palette, that's okay too. We got lots of extra supplies. So what we'll do is we're going to start with a lot of yellow, because there's a lot of yellow on the bottom. So you're just going to take your yellow and you go in an arc. You can just do big sweeping motions. If you want to do little ones, that's okay too. You don't need any water on your brush starting off, because what that will do is thin out your paint, and if you thin it out too much, it's not going to cover the canvas very well. And then you're going to end up with white spots underneath. The other thing you can do, if you want to, and it does make it look nicer for hanging, is you can do the sides. So if you want to do the sides, make sure you do them as you're painting that section of canvas. That way you don't have to try and match the color on your brush to the color that's on the canvas, because you'll already have it. So I'm going to do my sides. Do your sides. If at any point I'm getting too far ahead and want me to slow down, I can do that. And I'm sure people won't mind waiting a minute and taking some time to chat with your neighbor, chat with your friends, or get another drink. One thing you have to be careful of at paint night is that when you grab your drink and you go to take a nice big sip of your wine or whatever you've got, make sure you double check that you're not grabbing your paint water, because that would be not a nice surprise. So you can take your yellow as far up as you like, because then we're going to start adding in the other colors. You don't have to worry about being totally perfect with it. This is a very forgiving background, and you can have as much or as little yellow as you like, but make sure you got lots on there, because now we're going to blend. Now we're going to blend a little bit. So I'm going to take a little bit of red. You don't want a lot of red because it's going to overpower your yellow if you got too much. So I'm just going to start in with my red here, and just as I use up the red on my brush, I'm going to come down into my yellow to make it a little bit orange. And over on this side. Don't worry about this bottom corner, because as you can see, we're going to cover it up with our mountains. And they don't have to be mountains. If you don't want mountains, that's fine. That's fine. You don't need mountains. You can put something else there. Or you don't have to put anything there if you just want the sunset and maybe the birds. There's a lot of decisions you can make in this painting. So now I'm going to get more red, because it's going to get slightly darker as I go up. If at any time you don't really want to make it any darker and you don't want to bring some more yellow up, you can grab a little bit of white, mix that in there, and that will help it blend nicely. And it adds a little bit of a different quality to the colors. So I'm going to do my sides here before I run out of my color. Oh, and I ran out of my color a little bit, so I'm going to get some more. A little bit of red. Put it in here. I'm going to go on the side. It doesn't have to be exact. So, do we have anybody here from out of town? Yeah, we've had some. Do you want to tell us where you're from? Oh, that's a little ways away. Are you visiting family or friends? That's great, and they brought you to paint night. That's a good friend, brings you to paint night. So here we go. Now I have to do my sides on this side. I gotta get a little bit more yellow because I didn't do my side, but it's nothing to panic about. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry. There we go. All right. So I'm pretty happy with my yellow and my red at this point. But I'm going to keep going with my red because now we're going to keep going up, and then we're going to mix in some blue with the red when we get a little higher up. So if yours doesn't look exactly like this, don't worry about it. Your colors might be richer. Your colors might have a little bit more white in them. They might be more subdued. That's all totally fine. Sunsets don't all look the same, so it's nothing to be concerned about. And if you start putting the paint on and you feel like, oh my goodness, that's a little bit dark, try not to white it out too much or panic about the color, because when we start putting the really dark colors in, it'll all come together. So here we are, nice sweeping motion. It's like exercise for your arm. If your one arm gets tired, you can switch. You can switch. Doesn't have to be precise. going. You can, if you wanna stand back from your painting and look at it and see if you think you need more red or more yellow at any time, or some white in there somewhere, you go for it. It's all your decision. Does anybody want me to come around and have a look and see if you need any one-on-one coaching? That's part of the deal. You can do some one-on-one coaching. So I don't know if you could tell or not, but I'm not from around here. Anybody want to take a guess at it? Maybe I'll let my accent come out a little bit more, and then it'll be pretty clear. Okay. Let's go. Now, I'm going to start bringing my blue in. So, if you want, at this time, you can wash your brush. So that when you start off with your blue, it's completely blue, and we'll start up more at the top.